It's mansplaining time again. Let's take a look at what couples counselors learn in their master's program, some of which is lopsided, incorrect, and out of date. A large percentage of couples come into the session having read or been influenced by the Mars-Venus book series, which really should be entitled Men Are Disappointing and Women Are Disappointed. It is extremely likely that your couples counselor has read and been tested on these two books or something extremely similar. They are mostly excellent books, and I highly recommend them to anyone. The social sciences do not evolve in a linear way. There's often a step forward, 3 steps backward, and that kind of thing going on. You wouldn't want to see a doctor who was using techniques from the 70s or 80s if better technology had come along. So as a consumer of couples counseling, you should be aware that there are some pro-female, anti-male subtext elements within these books. The type of sexism you'll see in couples counselors today is more of a leaning towards a certain direction, as opposed to coming with a severe agenda that is obvious. Now, if we were to look at couples counselors in 1982 or so, we'd see quite a different perspective. A lot of openly anti-male sentiment. We've come a long way since then. So let's see what Ms. McGoldrick has probably taught your couples counselor. Men value their own experience over their accountability to those they live with. Well, whether that's out of date or has never been true enough to say generally about either gender, the question is, do you want to see a counselor who believes this is true about men? It has been a commonplace observation that men have difficulty creating and sustaining same-sex friendships or communicating their emotional problems or vulnerability. I would put this in the expired category. This was probably very true before 1965, in a general sense. Now, we have other things. These aren't the only things, but these are some things that threaten same-sex friendships. Family. All the stresses and responsibilities of family understandably impact same-sex friendships. Women who invite only couples to get-togethers. This is not uncommon at all. That also affects men having same-sex friendships. I'm not really sure how common this next one is. It's common enough to be worthy of mention. She just doesn't want you hanging out with your friends sometimes. Some women are just like that. Oh, commitment, where art thou? The most terrifying thing he can imagine is making a commitment to an equal, honest, and intimate relationship with a woman. Well, this isn't the time or place to get into the nuances of how men and women viewed commitment differently. Point is this the kind of thing you want banging around in your counselor's head as you're attending sessions? So let's see what Mr. Gottman has to say. So this book is really a pretty relatively dry research book, and it informs his current work. So let's take a look at a real important quote from the book. Women's marital interaction, in fact, has been consistently described as more confronting, coercive, demanding, and highly emotional. Well, at face value, you might think, thumbs down. This is not good. I certainly think this stuff doesn't sound very good. But not Mr. Gottman. He says, and the best advice one can give wives is to not be overly compliant, but to persist in getting her husband to face areas of continuing disagreement. But why? Is there some problem with women not standing up to their husbands enough? Do they have to be coercive, demanding, and confrontational? How would that be if guys were that way? I think it'd be kind of an outrage, right? Or that person would be a loser. And in the next one, it appears John was channeling Monica McGoldrick here. Women can function within the context of strong negative affect much more competently than men can. Is your couples counseling session a forum for political action? Probably partly. Now you may think that I've cherry-picked here. Well, maybe you need more examples. If so, go ahead and request them. So feel free to tear me up in the comments. Sources available upon request.